Hi everyone, my name is Aydemir. I'm a computer science student. My project advisor is Aaron Stevens. He is a lecturer at the Department of Computer Science and also in the Questrom School of Business. My project is titled Your Home, Their Hope, Engaging the Public in Disaster Recovery. So in 2023, two major earthquakes struck Turkey. The first one had a magnitude of 7.8, and it struck on February 6, 2023, it was around 4 a.m., which was followed hours later by a second earthquake, which was of magnitude 7.8, 7.6, and it struck the next morning. These two earthquakes caused immense damage in 11 cities, as you can see on this map, in the southeast region of Turkey. And official numbers state that about 55,000 people have lost their lives and about 1.5 million people were displaced as a result of these earthquakes. One thing about this region of Turkey is it gets really cold in the winters and it gets really hot in the summers. So this was a major issue for people who didn't have homes after the earthquake, and they had nowhere to stay except for tents that were established for them. So the reason I wanted to focus on this for my project was I remember waking up the next morning. My roommate Han is also Turkish, and I felt really hopeless. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't sure what I could do to actually make an impact to people who have lost their homes or who have lost their relatives. I had a lot of friends from high school who knew people, going through stuff like difficulties like this. So actually, the photo from the left is from a temporary relief center, which was normally a Turkish supermarket. We went there to help pack clothing that were donated and also categorize them and ship them over to Turkey in an overnight flight. In addition, BU, Turkish Student Association, had a donation program which allowed us to collect over $50,000 in donations, and we sent it back to rescue teams in Turkey. So throughout this process, I became very interested in temporary accommodation solutions and in ways I can help people who are displaced by natural disasters. To talk a bit about the homelessness situation that went down in Turkey, there was a lot of issues, especially some which were politically motivated. The government was quite late to intervene. It took maybe a couple days, which is a critical time in an event like this. And the most they did was set up 10 cities, as you can see in these photos. They were in widespread areas like the stadiums, and they put maybe like thousands in there. But it's really cold, as I said, and it's very troubling for people who have no homes and who are forced to live in these 10 cities. And 2 years later, still 600,000 people are homeless, which is a crazy number in my opinion. And so what I had in mind was, I was thinking to myself, what's one thing that almost everyone has access to? And that's the internet. And as a computer science student, I had to do something in my mind about programming. And I created a platform to have people become hosts. So if you want to host a family who's displaced, you can go in there, register, sign up, fill out a form, and the same goes for people who are displaced. So you both do it, and there's a location and need-based matching algorithm, which is kind of like a hybrid method, and it looks both at how many people a host can actually have in a home, and also where they are. So, and as a result of this, at the end, they're matched, and there is a temporary housing solution for people who are displaced. To talk a bit about the platform features, which a lot of people ask me if I can explain them in detail. I don't know how to explain Python in detail, to be honest, but it's a programming language. I use it for the backend, and I use a platform or a framework called Flask, which makes it a lot easier for developers to build web programs. For the front end, which is what the users see, I use CSS and HTML, which are perhaps two of the most common programming languages for front-end programming. And for data storage, I use MongoDB, which is very scalable, and it's easy to use and implement. I wanted to have a feature, as you can see on this photo, a map feature. I used an API from a platform called Mapbox, and I basically wanted to have people see when they first enter the website who have signed up and where they are in the world. So it updates in real time when there's a new user. A pin appears on the map, and I wanted to have this map be visible to everyone, even though they're not registered. They may not be registered, because I want people to see that there are people out there who are willing to host, and as a sign of perhaps maybe motivation to become hosts, or as a sign of support to those who are displaced. I'm still kind of thinking about the security features. There's quite a bit to think about in that space, because it's very critical that their data is secure and protected, because there might be critical information like, especially if this is a vulnerable community, thinking that they're displaced. So I have to really think about what I can do to make it a lot more secure than it currently is. And also, I just skipped it. There is a form that they fill out. They put in their names and last names, how many people they can actually host. This is for the host family, let's say, and the dates that they can host the family. So the same form, a similar form goes for the people who are displaced, and they both fill it. They're now in the dashboard, and they match in the dashboard, and they can communicate with their full addresses and full information. That information isn't visible in the beginning for security purposes. As you might have imagined, there are a couple of modern challenges with this app. So I divided them into two parts. In-app, which one example is it scalable under pressure? In an emergency like this, a lot of people go into one app. And when there's this high stress or workload on this app, it must still function because it's very critical that an app that is this critical to human life must be able to be active at all times. It also must have low latency. It shouldn't be delayed at any point. It should be updates in real time. And as I said, high availability. It must be secure, which I'm currently working on. And I'm thinking of having third-party security features just because it is very hard to implement cybersecurity features that are updated every day because there's so many attacks that are happening, malicious malware, malicious people who are trying to get into the website. So it's something to think about. As for external features or external challenges, first, as you might have imagined, is trust and verification. We have to make sure that people who are signing up are actually trustworthy and they have good intentions. So we have to run identity checks, background screenings, as well as there's legal concerns such as liability issues, insurance problems, and also I'm thinking about cooperating with emergency services and NGOs who are generally on the spot right away, and I really need their help to make this project become a bigger thing than it is currently. Finally, there's logistics, coordinating the transportation of displaced families and vice versa, food, and helping the host family financially or in other ways to help accommodate this other family that they're hosting. So the reason I wanted to focus on a project like this is I'm making an assumption, as you might have guessed, which is people are going to be willing to host displaced families. And it's a bit of a big assumption, I realize. But also, I talk to a lot of people in Turkey who know people who have been displaced or who have lost their families, and people are willing to host. There's some people may not be, but in general, people are willing to help people who are in deep trouble. But sometimes they don't have the means or the ways to. So my project aims to focus on the second part. It's a way for those people who are willing to host to find a platform where it's really easy to be a host and to actually make a difference in the life of people who are going through troubles like this. So I want to have the public empowered and also involved in this process. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, so great presentation. I was wondering if you would consider some way to collect some sort of data on the current matches that have been made to improve your matching algorithm?
Yes, that's actually my second step. I haven't done that yet, but that's definitely something I have to do because it is only for me to know if it's successful or not. So I have to do that at a later stage. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for this great presentation. As you are aware, we in Turkey have a problem with trustful and reliable news sources. So I was just curious as to what would be the ideal way, in your opinion, to disseminate information about this platform, because it's a very valuable resource.
That's a really good question. I wish I had a very specific answer to that, but that's also something, as I said, I'm going to have to focus on. But I think that social media is definitely the first thing I would do. I'd just go on there, share about this platform, and also inform people that this is a trustworthy website and their data is secure, which is, on my end, I have to make it secure. So I would say social media is my first answer.
Very cool project, Han.
Thank you.
I was just noticing that right now the forms are all written in English, and I was curious if you intend to translate them or if you want to have like a universal, like where you're choosing one language that everyone will use.
Really good question. I was expecting someone to ask that. Yes, so it's supposed to be, the reason it's in English is Python is a language based on English. So just because I'm making a prototype, I wanted to have everything in English, but it's very easy for me to translate for different countries. Turkish is definitely something, because my project is based on events in Turkey, I have to translate it, but it's something that I'm going to do. It's not that difficult just because I'm going to change like the language in general, but yes, good observation.
All right, good job, Tom.